Hello YouTube fans, Madarant here, and welcome to a deck profile with Dark Magician. This deck has the ability to disrupt your opponent's play during their turn and OTK during your turn. It has some decent support. It is not on a level of Blue Eyes plus Spellcraft support, but it is better than the Red Eyes, Buster Blader, and Black as a Soldier support that have come before it. And hopefully as the further support we get in Dark Illusion is revealed, this deck may have the potential to become meta. Currently the Blue Eyes deck is a pseudo meta deck at the moment with the April ban list in effect, more or less effect for some tournaments, and is more or less reported that the Blue Eyes deck is quite consistent in its topping spree at the moment. So Dark Magician may have the potential if it gains the level of support that Blue Eyes did in their previous pack. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile as it is now. We have Triple Dark Magician in its original artwork. For me, this will always be the best Dark Magician, just because it's so iconic as Yugi's card. So yeah, the only one that ever comes close to it is the Arcana Dark Magician, because that artwork is pretty amazing. But the original Dark Magician is always going to be my favorite. And it's very good, and it's always needed as a free of in this deck because of the fact that Illusion Magic can get two of them out of the deck at the same time, whereas the Red Eyes deck didn't have a very much consistent way of getting multiple Red Eyes out of the deck at the same time. Cards of a Redstone is alright, but they already had a replacement which worked better than the Red Eyes, whereas this one doesn't do it justice. But yes, so Dark Magician triple on this. And then 2 Magician of Black Illusion. At 3 it was a little cloggy. At 2 it seems about right. You get it sometimes in your hand and it can be very plussing, but you don't really need it in your hand as much, and you don't really want to add it to your hand through any of your means. So it's quite a good card. During your opponent's turn, I should say, when you activate a spell trap card, you can essentially summon this card from your hand, which is a lovely effect to start to swarm and defend yourself on their turn. It can also ignite your Dark Magic Circle. Then it has the other ability of when it's face up on the field, if you activate a spell trap card, you can target a Dark Magician in your graveyard and special summon it. This allows you to do a really nice combo in which you use Magician's Navigate to special summon out the Dark Magician and Magician of Black Illusion, assuming your Magician's Rod in the graveyard. Then your Dark Magic Circle should activate, which will allow you to chain Magician's Rod to it and tribute off the Dark Magician. Once they have resolved, you activate the spell card, so you can activate the effect of Black Illusion to reborn that set tributed Dark Magician, and you've lost absolutely nothing, and you've got your Searcher back in the hand. He allows you to do a lot of combo plays in that sense, and also allows you to go for game when combo on your turn if you haven't got enough monsters already used, or you haven't used this effect. That's while faced up. Then we have 1 Performance Trick Clown. I haven't got much out of this guy yet, but in theory it gives you an option for some rank 4 spam, which can be alright, but that's about it. He doesn't do much except from being a defense or something to send through Mathematician, because Mathematician is technically better and it gives you a draw. Then we have Legion of Fiend Jester, a tech for 1 card, where you can combo this with Illusion Magic and add all 3 Dark Magicians from your deck to your hand, so this is turn 1. So that's great. It also has the ability to add a Dark Magician from the graveyard to your hand when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, as well as from the deck. So it can be very good. He also gives you an additional non-summon of a spellcaster, but I've not usually used that effect in practice. He's more of a defense, or something I can summon out with Magician Navigate when I've already used up all my Black Illusions. So he's also a level 4, so he does help for rank 4 spam. Then we have Triple Magician's Rod. This is our Stratos deck. It searches out any of our Magician spell traps that list Dark Magician in the name, essentially. So it searches out Dark Magic Circle, Illusion Magic, Magician's Navigate, and Eternal Soul. It also searches out Dark Magic Attack, which is also in this deck, but there are other ones that you could actually search out, which is Thousand Knives, but it's really not good. You cannot search out the Eye of Timaeus since it requires it states on this card Dark Magician Monster, and therefore it's not actually saying the Dark Magician itself. So it cannot be searched, and that's why it's not in the deck anymore. It was in the deck in its previous form, but you need to keep the consistency. It also has the secondary effect during your opponent's turn. If you activate a spell trap card, you contribute a spellcaster you control, add this card to your hand. so it can recover your own searcher. If Stratus had an effect like that, it would have been banned instantly. Magician's Rod, very good card. Continuously starts your engine, and yeah, it's a 1600 beater as well, so it's good. The only thing that's problematic with him is that he's level 3. If he had been level 4, he would have been phenomenal. Then we have Mathematician. Mathematician can send our Trick Land to the graveyard, or send our Magician's Rod to the graveyard to set up our graveyard with Magician's Navigator follow. So you can add to your hand that way. So it gives you basically adding your monster to your hand, so quite good. Plus, when it's destroyed a battle or sent to the graveyard, draw a card. Always good. Then I play 2 hand traps in the form of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is a spellcaster and therefore the best hand trap to use with this deck, as you can tribute it in a bad situation for Illusion Magic or Magical Dimension. On to the spells. Then we have 2 Dark Magic Attack, which is basically a Harpy's Feather Duster for Dark Magician. I do sometimes get off, but it's not always the case, so I do have some backup MST removal. You can also search it through Eternal Soul. Then we have Raigeki, which is Raigeki Soul Charge, which can be very nice. 3 Upstart Goblin to keep the consistency. 3 Pot of Duality, also again keep the consistency. Plus you don't usually special summon on your turn, you usually use your Magician's Rod on your turn 1, and you can combo with Pot of Duality as well to hopefully search out one piece of the combo, and then Magician's Rod gets the second piece that you need. So at 3, it's a very good card, but sometimes it can be dead at only a few times, not always. It's mainly when it comes later on in the duel, you probably won't need it at that point. 1 Magical Dimension, it's the tech, it's basically your Dark Magic Circle combined with your Magician's Navigate, a very old card. It requires you to tribute a spellcaster to activate this card, and you target one monster you control. Well, if you, let me restate that. If you control a face-up spellcaster, you can target one monster and then tribute it to special summon a spellcaster from your hand, and then you can destroy one monster on the field. I believe it doesn't target, by the wording, it doesn't state that it targets, so it should be able to out untargetable cards like Yazi, Evil Yang Zing, or maybe even Cosmo Dark Destroyer, although you don't really want to destroy that, but it's quite good. It's something to think about. Then 2 Twin Twister to back up my Dark Magic attacks. 2 Mass Change Second to give us access to Dark Law and Anki, because Dark Magician is level 7, it goes up to level 8, so we can't bring out Dark Law unfortunately, but it's quite good. I like Mass Change in this, gives it some more dangerousness. A lot of banishment will take place in this deck. Then Triple Illusion Magic, tribute 1 spellcaster to add 2 Dark Magicians from your deck or graveyard to your hand. A very good search card, perfect for incorporating Dark Magician into this new support. Then we have Triple Dark Magic Circle, a great card, as you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Dark Magician or Dark Magician related card from your deck to your hand, and then place the other 2 in the order you need. So you can combo this with Upstart Goblin or Max C, as you'll be able to draw whichever card you want at that point. So for example, I have Dark Magic Circle, I activate it and I add 1 Dark Magician card, and then I can top deck Pot of Duality, so then I can upstart into Pot of Duality, get another card out of the deck, and then Pot of Duality into whatever I need. So it refreshes and possibly gets you to view more or less 5 or 6 cards of your deck. So very good in that sense. And its secondary effect is when a Dark Magician is normal special summoned to your side of the field, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and banish it. So that's great. If it didn't target, it would be phenomenal, but targeting is decent enough. It's a really good card since it's continuous, and it can ignite when Magician of Black Illusion is summoned onto the field because it's counted as a Dark Magician while it is on the field. So that's very good. Then onto our traps. 3 Magician's Navigate. This is a very powerful trap card. You can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, and then special summon a level 7 or lower Dark spellcaster from your deck, which is very good because you can summon Dark Magician, then Magician of Black Illusion, and ignite your spell card Dark Magic Circle. And it has the secondary effect. On the turn it's not sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard to tag 1 face-up spell trap your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. It is a quick effect and therefore can negate stuff like Raigeki, which is brilliant support for this deck, particularly since it's like magic based. Negating stuff is kind of thought of as something relevant for this deck. And then finally, triple Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul I originally didn't like because it destroys your monsters if this face-up card leaves the field. Although if it gets shuffled into the deck, it doesn't actually destroy them. I figured that out when I tried to Ignista one of these trap cards, or when my opponent Castelled it, that it doesn't actually allow it to go off because it's not on the board anymore. It doesn't really go off in that sense. But it has two effects. Special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, which ignites your circle, or add a Dark Magic attack of Thousand Knives from your deck to your hand, which basically reshuffles your deck if you're top decking too many spells and you can't be doing anything more due to your Dark Magic Circle and Part of Duality has the engine stopped. You can use Eternal Soul to shuffle your deck, add that magic attack into your hand, and hopefully redo the look that you may get a monster next, because there is a limited amount of monsters. Magician's Robe I didn't want to actually use just because it's not very effective. I wouldn't really advise it, whereas Eternal Soul is quite good in that sense, and I've grown to like it. Also, it makes Dark Magicians unaffected by opponent's cards, which is very powerful indeed. Onto the extra deck, we have one rank 3, the Phantom Knights of Breaksword, which is our Scrap Dragon for the deck, Abyss Dweller for the rank 4s, to stop burning Abyss and all that kind of stuff, Daigusto Emerald, because this can not only shuffle back cards into your deck and draw one card, but it can also reborn your Dark Magician, Castell, because Castell, and Performance Trapeze Magician, which I haven't brought out yet, but in theory you can make that Magician attack twice, and 7500 damage to directly could be very dangerous. Then onto the rank 7s, we have Eborn Void Magician. I've only brought this out once, and I really don't think it's really needed in this deck. As support, it's a bit lackluster. Unless we get some further support in the future, we probably won't be using Eborn Void very much. It has the ability, while as Exceed Material, to activate quick play spell cards or trap cards from your hand during your opponent's turn by attaching a material, which is quite good. And when its Exceed Summon monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard or sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, you can switch summon a Dark Spellcaster from your hand or deck, then destroy one card on the field, which also doesn't target. So it's a magical dimension built in, but it's not worth it in the long run, unless you're in a low amount of life or want to be in defense with 2800 defense. Then we have Eborn Illusion Magician. This is a brilliant card, as it can be overlaid onto a rank 6 spellcaster Exceed monster, which you don't usually do, but it requires 2 level 7s, it's generic. You can special summon a spellcaster normal monster from your hand or deck, so you can special summon a Dark Magician, and when a normal monster, that spellcaster declares an attack, you can tag one card on the field and banish it, so you can then redeclare the attack and continue on. So that is absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, you can only use this effect once per turn. Then we have Big Eye, because it's Big Eye, Snatch Steals also. And then Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. I don't usually use this in a deck that accesses rank 7, because I don't really think it's really viable in this sense. But since this is an OTK based deck, and it has the ability to OTK, I should say, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon can back this up and cause your opponent a lot of pain, because if you're attacking directly with like 3 Dark Magicians, they're only going to have 500 life points left. Overlay for Flare Metal, they're screwed unless they can Castell you without activating any effects. That's the only way they can get around it. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, so it can screw over some decks that can only get rid of you through card effects, and their battle is not going to go over 2800. Then for the Synchros, one Cyclone Lord Omega to reuse Magician's Navigate, and Skylight to burn the field away. And finally, for the fusions, 2 Dark Law and 1 Anki. Dark Law Macrocosmos, Anki can then search in the Mass Change, and if you have Magician on the board, you get some tag outs and possibly have a pseudo OTK scenario there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Please tell me what you think in the comments below. If you've got any suggestions for the deck, also leave those in the comments below. I will probably doing some more videos with this depending on how many rage quits I get, but essentially I love this deck. It's quite fun. It's not the best deck yet, but if we get further support, it could be something meta viable. So yeah, thank you for watching. Me, Matt Durant, signing out.